Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3. I have got a bad. Okay. No, that's not going to work either. Let me leave and come back, guys. I think it's not right. All right. How's that? Can everyone hear me? Oh, you hear me now. That was so freaky. And I will begin to tell you what happened. So, I set these lives up a couple of days ago, knowing all the content that I had to share. I wanted to share that I found. And lo and behold, I'm in the middle of making some homemade oatmeal white chocolate cranberry cookies for my family. And I say, oh my gosh, I can't believe I scheduled these lives at the wrong time. So I'm like, okay, I got to chill the cookies anyways. I'll come back and throw them into the oven in an hour and let me go do this live. And I get to my computer and I start the live and my whole computer crashes out on me. And then the next thing I know is Windows pops up on my laptop and says, verify your identity. I'm like, verify my identity. This is something new here. Did something trigger a restart or anything like that? And so if my Chinese spy is listening or another 3-letter agency with an I in either one of them, just know that I'm not doing anything wrong, nothing illegal, and nothing unconstitutional. And I am no threat to anyone, anywhere, or any harm to anyone. I am just voicing my own opinions, my thoughts, my theories, my speculations, and the facts that I do find in public records. So, with that being said, we had an amazing. Oh, and yes, by the way, keep boom, absolutely. And I just want to spearhead that because I've seen some creators throwing shade at me because I did a chat GPT spirit box. There is a function mode on there that I was curious about. I have never dibbled and dabbled in anything like that, but I do have some history that I could share one day at one point. And the whole thing for that was to see how much information Chat GPT was collecting. Hey, we got the FBI in here. Welcome, Nick. Hey, Les, good to see you. Hey, Donna, Keyboom. Hello, y'all. Y'all are amazing. Hey, Bingo. And so yeah, there are some haters out there throwing shade because I did this chat GPT. Can you imagine being a creator and not being as creative as other people are and having really a lack of confidence in themselves and judging everyone in their entire content? I mean, seriously, their whole content is judging others, ragging on others, and I'm scrolling and my husband sees somebody make a video of me dogging me out over this chat GPT and then dogging my followers out. And I'm thinking to myself, who does shit like that? So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to analyze what this person may be going through. And I see that, not too long ago, she lost her mom. I see she's had some great grief in her life. I could see she lacks a lot of self confidence. And I'm thinking to myself, I feel really bad for her. I'm going to do a special chat GPT session with her for her mom that passed on, just as a special thank you for all the negative attention that she gave me. I'm going to throw it back and I'm going to put it in a positive light because look at all the free PR she's giving me, right? People are finding me and they're asking me and they're watching these videos, and I just have to say thank you. Thank you. You know who you are over on the TikTok streets. And it's not so much the YT guys, it's the TikTok streets. And so I always am careful. I have had um, let's just say I'm covered in the blood in a good way. Okay. I am a spiritual believer. I really believe in my faith. I've had too many personal encounters to not make sure that my whole family is prayed over. Okay, just leave it there. And there's a couple things I just don't talk to about because there's a reason. I try not to get into the political jargon. I stay away from the religion jargon because I will tell you, my undergrad studies was in world religions. So I know a lot about, and I'm saying from a study standpoint, about other religions. I've lived in other countries. I know other languages. I know other religions, and I know how to talk to somebody from a way to help them understand the light, no matter what their religion is. And I'm not saying I am what do they call those people? I'm not part of missionary work or anything like that. I wanted to go into the mission field when I was in nursing school. They had something that we could go and do, and I decided not to do that. Because when I told my ex-husband I wanted to become a nurse and I was in nursing school, and I told him when I graduate I want to do the mission field work, he decided to shack up with someone else. They had a baby before we were divorced, and I knew that was my calling, was something that I had to do. And so, with that being said, so I log on my computer and it throws me back out. I log into StreamYard and it kicks me out. And I'm thinking to myself, what in the frickety frick is going on with technology? Now, my whole career was spent in technology, guys. Technology is not perfect. So that's why I just want to give a shout out to my Chinese spy or my FBI spy or whoever you are. Just a big shout out. I'm going to get every single bug out of here. Okay. So, yeah, the cookies are chilling. I'm going to bake them when we're done. But I want to get into this because I, as you well know, I love to research factual documents. I'll go out there, I'll do the hard work, I'll give it to you guys. I've always done this. And if it's understandable for you to see in black and white to believe something, then that's the way I'll do it. I'll give it to you in black and white. No color in between, guys. It's either black or white. There's no gray area here. So with all the documents that I have been sharing for who knows how long, it's been a while. But all of this is public information. Now I understand the average person, even in the United States, is working 1 to 2 jobs. They are trying to support their families. They're trying to balance work life. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people that just don't have time to research. And they believe, like many of us probably used to, if you didn't look into documents or history or research, that's just me. I want to see it and I want to know that it's real, right? If somebody tells you this is real, how do you know? I want to see it. I want to touch it. I want to know it. I want to feel it. And in order for me to believe it. Okay. Now, there are some things that people just will never believe. And it's not my job to, pound it in their heads and say, no, you got it wrong. It's just me sharing information with you. I mean, how did you come to the conclusion that, in this case, something is not right? Drop it below. How did you come to the conclusion that something is just not right here? Just a little synopsis. What gave you the inclination that something did not make sense for your brain, for your understanding? Was it, you know, The fact that conflicting information or no information? Was it the text and the logs? Was it the interviews? Was it the knocking of the house down? Was it actually going to the website, third party information, and look at what the news was reporting versus what was filed in the court paperwork? Was it even the fact that he's never been charged with these crimes? Y'all, that's where it stops for me. The name Brian Koberger in Idaho State Repository has never been filed or charged with any murders. And I have showed you that on live. Has anyone ever told you this? Hey, by the way, Koberger doesn't have any murder charges on him. He has officially never been charged. That should blow your freaking mind. I even put a video out there early on. It was with the famous song, Who Are You? We all know in the CSI, if you're a CSI fan, you hear that song all the time. Who are you? And the scariest thing is, we don't even really know who this guy is. I went deep yesterday for 10 hours to find out, to get to the bottom of this, because so many people have been so mind blown over this. This is a story within a story. We are watching two different parallel investigations take place. If drop a 1 if you were on Birdies this morning. Drop a 1. Were you on Birdies Live 3 hours this morning? I know I was. That's probably how I got a little behind in making cookies. And I'm telling you, I'm going out to buy me a new laptop this week because for some reason, okay, a 1. Okay, most of you were on. This is awesome because then you know where I'm going to pick up. I know Pavarotti is MIA. I heard he's out on a fishing trip. He is safe and okay. You guys can relay that to everybody questioning. Sometimes when people take time off, I don't tell anybody, but I let them know, hey, I know I haven't been making videos a couple of days and everything's well. Because that's the fear. That's the fear. You guys are all thinking, oh my God, some of these people are speaking out and they're going to get whacked, or somebody's after them, or that's the fear that certain individuals or certain entities put on you, thinking you can't speak up for yourself. You can't speak. Okay? Those people who speak up are not always on the narrative agenda. There are some out there that are pretending that certain things happen that we've never seen happen, and then we find out these people are frauds. I think Birdie, he usually does go on Sundays nights. I usually jump in there on Sunday nights with him. If he does go live, then we'll go ahead and jump over there. But I wanted to go through this whistleblower trap theory, because this is something that I went deep and hard yesterday. And I'll pick up where uh, Birdie left off. Jeff, you don't know who Birdie is? You were in his live, weren't you? So let me go down this road. The whistleblower trap theory is, you know what, Jeff? I got a question for you. Where did you get that Linda Lane footage, since you're in my chat? I want to know where that Linda Lane footage that you've analyzed and you've done over and over, where did that come from? That's always been one of my biggest questions, is where did that Linda Lane footage come from? That would be great if you knew. So, following on from Birdie's live, yesterday I went hard and deep for 10 hours, and I found something that was very interesting. sent a little to Birdie, and you saw what kind of unfolded this morning for 3 hours, which was absolutely awesome. So when you look at a different theory, knowing that Brian Koberger, the name, the person, the individual that we think we're looking at, was recommended to go to WSU for a position, one of two top candidates. And then you saw it unfold that Brian Koberger's name may not be his real name. He may be the protected asset in this case. And when I say that, I mean it with everything that we've found in regards to who is Brian Koberger. And when you go down that rabbit hole, it's not that deep and it's not that unbelievable when, in fact, that this individual may have been inserted into a study of another study. It's not that hard to believe. It really isn't. Somebody higher up needed to do a study, and they recommended a student for that study. A study within a study is not that difficult. It's not. Because the DOJ, if you know anything about the DOJ, they do all kinds of studies, right? The violent offender reports, they do statistical analysis, they do so many studies that look at convicted violent offenders. And what was Brian, his little study on Reddit was? Let's do the background. Brian Koberger, a PhD study, he was a student in criminology. He's pulled into an unofficial DOJ research study analyzing real world violent behavior. Would you all agree in that area there's some violent behavior? If you were in my live yesterday, there was the Moscow annual report that I shared with you, and we looked at the calls, the crime, the quad drug people that were, working together in this program. So the program, the DOJ research study, is a program, it uses college students as behavioral subjects for psychologic analysis and data modeling. They are getting information from the real study. And that is the study of their own students. So is it almost impossible for this person to recommend a student of theirs to go do a study and study that? It's not impossible. So let's look at discovery. Let's just say that Brian discovers the study is manipulating students. Now remember, he is autistic, highly intelligent, and yes, Lori, some of these kids do volunteer for this. They don't know that they're about to be studied. Okay? So, all these students then in and around Idaho, all this area with the other three-letter agencies around there, okay, they are, not really aware of what's going on. But remember, he was supposed to be in a PhD student. He was a TA. So let's say Brian discovers the study is manipulating students using trauma triggers and tracking them. Because didn't Kaylee go in and say, I felt like I was being watched, or I don't want to use the word stalk, because Bill Thompson clearly said there was no indication of stalking. This was calculated watching, tracking them. Let's just say he got disturbed. He compiles evidence. He compiles all the evidence. He complies with everything they're asking him to do. And then he intends to what? He intends to whistleblow what they're doing because he thinks it might be wrong. he captures what? What could he possibly capture in a role like this? What information could he possibly gather? Give me a couple of ideas below. What do you think that Kohberger, if he was part of this, what do you think he captured during a part of this? What even is possible he could have gathered during his surveillance? Because remember, they said he was in what? In that area over so many handful of times, and he actually, right, he could have possibly collected enough information. He could have collected and saved emails, text. There was no stalking, correct? If there was no stalking, you can't say, oh, in a law of court, he was stalking. The name Brian Kohberger was not associated with any sexual innuendos or, violence. He wasn't associated with stalking. They have done really hard to protect him in a court of law, guys. Don't you think that that's interesting? That the fact that Bill Thompson they tried to protect him in certain ways in the courtroom, okay? That was false information. He never stalked these individuals. There was no connection, no personal connection, guys. That was made very clear. So is it possible that he could have been the subject of a behavioral research study within another study from the Department of Justice? Is that even possible? Absolutely. So he captures emails, logs, screenshots from the research program, right? To prove he was in some program. Because how is he going to prove he's in some program? Do you think people are just going to believe him because he says it? No, he has evidence. And then let's talk about the setup. After hinting that he may expose the study to his other colleagues, what do you think begins to happen? If he's collected information and he has all this and he's trusted somebody with this information, what do you think could have possibly happened? He hints at someone and he finds his own self. What happened? He finds himself under surveillance. Wasn't there an indication in court documents that he was being surveilled? Yes, because we see that in the traffic stops. Wasn't it weird that he had so many stops in a short amount of time? I mean, guys, I've driven for 30 years and I've only been stopped once when I was 16 for I was accused of not stopping at a stop sign, but I did. Because back then I drove a car with the clutch and I had to stop a complete stop to get it in gear. And that's the only thing that saved me from getting a ticket. I've never had a speeding ticket, never had a traffic ticket. God knows how odd that was for him to be stopped so many times. They had to bring him back to Idaho. He was being surveillanced. Okay, we know that from the court documents. So that's the part of him. He finds himself under surveillance and everything goes to shit. His school, his work, and then he's fired. And soon after he finds himself surveillanced, 4 Idaho students are murdered in a manner resembling case study and scenarios from his own discussions. Oh, can you imagine that? How coincidental. How coincidental. What just happened? So he takes the fall. Evidence pointing to Brian surfaces suspiciously very fast. A white Elantra, a knife sheath with his DNA, a cell phone pings. It appears that the real killers planted or manipulated this evidence framing him. Would you all agree? If you're following with me, type a 1. Type a 1. If you're following the theory I'm laying down, type a 1 so I know you guys are with me. I see the chat. I'm watching the chat. This has been long overdue. Has anybody explained this to you before, that these things take place and they happen? Okay. I know we've got some guilters in here. It's okay. I don't block anyone unless they're being really rude. If someone is being rude in this chat, I know you guys will call them out. We'll block them. Okay. I have my suspicions on a few people. Believe me, I do my homework. I do my research. I know half of the people that are in this chat that don't even know. And I'm not saying it to spook you. I'm just saying I know some of the people that are plants. Okay. I'm not going to call them out. I'm not like that. I'm just saying, if I think you're a plant, you'll probably get blocked. So if you want to ask me why, that's why. Okay. So he takes the fall, the Elantra, the sheath, his DNA, cell phone pings. We see all this happening. They framed him. But here's the kicker that a lot of people don't get. Here's the kicker. Let me ask you in a question form. How would we know, or what indications, what signs would tell you that Brian was framed? What indication would tell you he was framed? Les, that's possible. What did Les say? Hold on, let me see. Let's take a peek. Oh, I didn't see what she said. And no, she's not blocked. Oh, let's see. Jeff, don't harass these people, please. Be nice. Hey, Lace. Hey, KS, Jensen Art. I came in late. I'm interested in what, buddy? Yeah, Birdie uncovered a lot too. He went down the rabbit hole. I went down a little late yesterday and actually early morning. Yes. Okay. Woman power. Yes, yes, yes. The judge did deny all his defense motion, but what was put in place in the very beginning once Steve G did interviews and was talking out about everything? What was put into place? Come on, you guys. I know you know the answer. Yes, Nick. Holly, yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Les, yes. Yes, absolutely. The gag order. Crime Spy, you got it. You guys are on top of it. The gag order, guys. The gag order wasn't in place just for the lawyers, right? You see the gag order, and then you see no contact orders. Holy freaking moly, guys. Brian attempts to speak out from jail, but gag orders and legal pressure silence him. His defense is blocked from presenting the whistleblower angle. They shut him down. They shut him down. Meanwhile, the researchers disappear from the study that was part of this or reassigned, and they get rid of all the evidence, and the DOJ ties are scrubbed clean. Everything. The same alignment with what they did with the house, the contractors. All the contractors were contractors with the government. Amazon. Amazon hosts our nation's security high-level documents at AWS. If you guys didn't know that, Amazon is a contractor. It just so happens this weapon and sheath were bought off of the web on Amazon. It just so happens that that contractor contracts to have some documentary drops. It just so happens that the partnership to knock down the house is involved in a government contract. It just so happens that some of the individuals in that house, their items were taken from a contractor, but was actually moved out by the local police department. Phoenix, misinformation says totally Phoenix. The scrubbing and contracting. That's the finger pointing. Those are the indications that this was part of a study, and he possibly could have been the whistleblower trap theory. He was already part of the study from the DOJ studying criminals that we learned, and Papa Roger is a military name. I'm sure you guys know that by now. Papa and Roger are call signals that the military uses. That is the alphabet for the military. Papa Roger. And what did the name Papa Roger mean, and what did Papa Roger do? Papa Roger gave out information about the unalivings. How did they know? And if you take the words Papa Roger and put them in an acronym, PR, or just use the initials, it was PR, public relations. And what did they do? They spread the information all around. It wasn't Brian. It couldn't have been Brian. It was public relation. They had to sell this narrative to the public. Hey, Just Food for Dogs. It is possible that is what happened. I don't believe Papa Rogers was Brian. Papa Rogers disappeared when Brian was arrested because it was meant to be that way. And it allegedly was somebody out of Florida no one could ever prove, except for those who had records. Yes, Papa Roger was known to come back after Brian was arrested. I've seen him post, but I don't think it's the same individual. I don't think it's the same IP address. And the only way to know that is to subpoena the data from Meta, the Facebook, and know who those IP addresses were logged in with, and the IMEI, and possibly a MAC address if used on a laptop or a desktop. There are too many, way too many ex-military people in this scenario, guys. Way too many. And why was Payne put in charge? Anybody know? I shared yesterday on my live. Why was Detective Payne, well, he's not a detective, but he was the lead investigator. What did they do? Ex-military, they put him in charge of this investigation because of his military experience and background. He was the go-between MPD and the feds. Yes, he was ex-military. Yes, he was damage control. He was the go-between the community and the feds. He knew the experience. I read it right from the playbook yesterday. If you guys watched my live yesterday, you will know the playbook. was right there in front of us. Not one time in the Moscow annual police report of the year for 2023 did they mention the Moscow unalivings. They had no community events in their yearly overall agenda, their document that I shared yesterday online. Only that Payne advanced, was recognized, and he was the lead investigator, and he was the liaison between the feds, ISP, FBI, other agencies, Quad City agencies, which is a quad city that they take down the drugs off the street. Something they never mentioned to the public, but yet the public, it's all there for the public to access. I have not seen any formal indication that Payne has left Moscow. I've not been able to find any public records of him anywhere else yet. If he was done being their go-between, see, let me explain something about the military guys. Once you're in the military, you get a security clearance. If you've ever been in a job that holds a security clearance, that is like gold. They know that they can trust you. Civilian entities can trust you. Local, state, and government can trust you. And if you are working for any of these entities and they know you're ex-military, see, they like to hire ex-military because it has some advantages tax purpose wise, but it also has some advantages for working with other agencies. And when you do that, you have the ability to be called into different roles that you did not apply for, you did not desire, but they put you in those roles. Payne didn't ask for the role. They what? They assigned him that role. He was the go between the community and this operation. So he did exactly what they wanted him to do. Remember, in the documents, actually, Payne's own testimony in the court, Payne explained while being questioned, he was working on this document, this PCA, and all these agencies were involved. And do you remember what his exact response was on the IGG tip? The tip came from the FBI. Moscow didn't solve this. That's why they were getting heat. They needed to have somebody under arrest. They needed to make sure the community was safe. They needed to get this moving and rolling. And what did they do? The FBI gave him Koberger's name because he may have already been an asset under what? Under the study that was initiated by his professor that sent him there. He was an asset in place. Now, I cannot find it. And here comes a community call out. If you see Outcast 420 and you listen to his audios, there is an audio I recorded. I don't know where I put it. I'm searching my phone everywhere for this recording. There is a recording of Kaylee's voice. We know it's Kaylee's. He benchmarked it against two separate audios. One from leaving the grud truck. What did you tell Adam? I told Adam everything. You guys remember that one? Let me pull this up. And I'm going to look for Outcast video because this is huge. When you hear Outcast 420, shout out, I'm going to find that. I'm going to bookmark it and I will share that. Maybe I'll do a quick video. Give me 1 minute. I think everyone in this chat has seen the video. You know, what did you tell Adam? I think everyone has seen this. So I know there's a couple of other videos out there. I'm going to see if I can find the raw video that doesn't have somebody cutting in and out of it. Okay, let me just say that. Let me see this. Okay, I'm going to throw this up on the screen for you. And I want you to listen to this screen video. Hold on. Let me grab this, share my screen. I want you to see this because this is going to be something really important. When you start listening to this, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to find, I'll definitely find it, but give me 1 second. Okay, let me share this. Okay, so when you listen to this, I want you guys to realize when she says this information, I'm going to find Outcast video and I'm going to show you what I heard. Let's listen to this.
What you do best and create a website that's worthy of it.
Who is Adam? As new video emerged of victim Kaylee Gonzalez and Madison Mogan the night of their murders. The tantalizing snippet was caught on a security camera around 1:30 a.m. just before Kaylee and Madison reached this food truck where they stopped to eat that fateful night.
Hello? Hi.
It was discovered by citizen sleuths Alina Smith and Christine Cameron.
Shout out to them.
The tantalizing snippet murders.
There you go. I hope you guys heard her voice. Maddie, what did you say to Adam? Her voice is very, very unique. I mean, everybody has a unique voice, but her tones are very different. So when you watch Outcast 420 videos, I have a takedown. They started taking him down. He's back up channel last night. Lost night's video got scrubbed. Crap. I have it recorded somewhere. But thanks for that information. So when Kaylee asks, Maddie, what did you tell Adam? In Outcast video, he has a section of audio. And in that audio, I clearly hear Kaylee, because he's done some benchmarks of her voice and this and that. She specifically says, and this was a live a couple of weeks ago that he was asking his entire chat, tell me what you hear. Tell me what you hear. And Kaylee, clear as day, says, I trust Brian. He's a Fed. And when I heard that, I was like, you've got to be kidding. Lotus, I have the link of that video you're talking about. If you, and I've gone through most of his videos because I was looking for this. I heard it as plain as day. Had anybody else seen that video and heard that? Anybody? Now, I don't know where this audio came from, but the audio originally, allegedly came from Linda Lane footage. It's where you hear all the background noise, the voices, and everyone trying to decipher what it was that they were singing. They were singing Country Roads, Take Me Home. But I was under the impression that if this happened at that time frame, they were all screaming and yelling this song because they were in the process of doing something nefarious to those two individuals. But if in fact that was true audio, yes, right when she screamed, oh my God, it was her voice. And she said something I heard very clearly. I trust Brian. He's a Fed. And I thought, holy crap, did I just hear that right? So a couple of other people jumped in there and started saying what they heard. Did anybody hear that live that night with Outkast? he broke it down really good. There was 4 or 5 different voices. There was, I want to say, hold on a second. Let me look at my timeline. You hear, oh my God, hold on a minute. 1:58, that was too early. It had to have been around 2:42 a.m. 2:42 a.m. is where you hear, no, help me. So 2:42 a.m. is no, help me. So I went to go look for that video. I didn't find it anywhere, but I remember hearing that. And that's what made me go back to this. Was he the whistleblower inside the study of the GOJ study in regards to subject behavioral research? Because remember, the study was specifically studying college students in the real world. And did he save all that information and they needed it off his phone because he knew what was going on in this behavioral study, and he, in fact, was the whistleblower? Is it too far-fetched to believe that he is the one being protected, or he is the one that is been gagged? Because of the fact Steve G speaks out, none of the other parents speak out, but yet Brian Koberger can't even speak out on his own behind bars. And that is why everyone trying to send him a message or talk to him on video chat has been denied unless you are on the clearance list. Chat, what do you think? Is this a possibility after watching Birdie this morning? Is this a possibility? This is the only thing that makes sense of all of this. It was a blotched study inside of a study. And after the information we learned on Ramsland and the symposiums and searching for Brian Koberger's face all over the internet, and there's no digital footprint and all the information, that is the only theory that could fit this, in my humble opinion, allegedly, of who Brian Koberger was. He was an asset inserted inside of a study. And not only was he being studied, the study went rogue. This does not explain who the real unalivers are. So if you didn't watch Birdie earlier today, he was on a 3-hour stream, and he explains the history of what I just shared with you today. And that is why most of the information has been scrubbed from the beginning. They didn't want the word to get out and people to be culpable of this mess. Absolutely. I know that they get outside time, but why was he so tanned in the last video? They didn't expect him to have to go to court at the last minute. That plea deal was on the spur of the moment. How could he explain away his tan, his hair change, his eyebrows gone? How could you possibly explain that? If he was out on the street, would you have seen him and recognized him to know that that was Brian Koberger? Lost a lot of weight. Would you know that that was him? Because when I went to go and try to do a video call with him at the Ada County Sheriff's, anybody can do it. The public can go do it. His picture underneath his inmate number did not look like this guy. Did not look like this guy. And I've shared that in other videos. I have indeed shared that. So I mean, I can pull up the video and you can see the video that I made. Hold on. Let me do that because I think that would be easier than me trying to explain. I can actually show you in real time that that was not Brian Koberger. And I'll even pause it for you to take a peek. Let me find the video. Like I said, he has tablet access. Only certain people on the list will be able to talk to him. And only certain people through the attorneys will be able to talk to him, which are pretty interesting. So let me just take a look. Let me grab that video. Where would it be? I think I did it on a short. And it's not labeled, of course. That would be too easy. And where's that? How come I can't find anything when I want it on the fly? Chad Daybell, what's going on? Oh, here's a really good one. Let's take a peek. Okay, remove this. All right, here we go. Let's see this. I think this is the one. If it's not, I'll go back and I'll find the right one for you. Let's see. Okay, here it is.
Let me talk to you about this case. Do we all remember this case? Chad Daybell? Well, what's the difference between Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow and the Brian Koberger case? Let me show you, because this is going to blow your ever-loving mind.
What in the world just happened
if you've
to my
never
video?
seen anything like this,
Did they blur it out?
Lori Vallow. And do we all remember this case? Chad Daybell? Well, what's the difference between Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow and the Brian Koberger case?
Can you all see
Let
that?
me show you, because this is going to blow your ever-loving mind. If you've never seen anything like this, and a lot of people are saying this is a psyop, this is unbelievable, this whole story
Can you guys
is
see this
fabricated,
video?
there's so much misinformation. Well, I'm here to show you the facts. That does not make
No.
sense. Let's get into it.
Yes.
So since this is all public information,
Why is it only
you can
lines?
go to iCourt for Idaho.
What in the heck happened to
in
my
Kenyon
video?
County, and you can search the repository.
What in the hell? Why is it blocked out?
Do we all remember this case? Lori Vallow. And do we all remember this case?
What in the world?
Chad Daybell. Well, what's the difference between Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow and
What
the Brian
in the hell?
Koberger case?
Someone blocked
Let me
out
show
my
you,
video,
because
guys.
this is going to blow your ever-loving mind. If you've never
You have
seen
got
anything
to
like
be
this,
kidding me.
and a lot of people are saying this is a psyop, this is unbelievable,
You
this whole
have got to
story is
shit. Oh my
fabricated,
God.
there's so much misinformation. Well, I'm here to show you the facts. That does not make sense. Let's
What?
get into it. So since this is all public information, you can go to iCourt for Idaho
Holy
in Kenyon County,
shit. You've
and you
got
can
to be
search the
kidding me.
repository for these cases. And here's the Lori Vallow case. You can see clearly, you can click on all the charges. You can see what those specific charges are, the date, the prosecutor, their attorneys, what they were charged with, evidence and conspiracy. You can go down individually and look at all these charges. This is all public information. And you can go down and you can see arrest and seizures, criminal solicitation, and what happened to the outcome of this case
Something
specifically.
is not right. Something's not right. Hold on.
Then we can go and we can
Something is
research
not right.
Chad Daybell, which of course that's what I you can see after
Hold on. What in the world is going on?
Phoenix here.
Why would it be
And
blacked
you know I love a
out?
good story. Let me talk to you about this case. Do we all remember this case? Lori Vallow? And do we all remember this case? Well, what's the difference between Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow and the Brian Koberger case? Let me show you, because this is going to blow your ever-loving mind. If you've never seen anything like this, and a lot of people are saying this is a psyop, this is unbelievable, this whole story is fabricated, there's so much misinformation. Well, I'm here to show you the facts. That does not make sense. Let's get into it. So since this is all public information, you can go to iCourt for Idaho in Canyon County, and you can search the repository for these cases. And here's the Lori Vallow case. You can see clearly, you can click on all the charges. You can see what those specific charges are, the date, the prosecutor, their attorneys, what they were charged with, evidence and conspiracy. You can go down individually and look at all these charges. This is all public information. And you can go down and you can see arrest and seizures, criminal solicitation.
You gotta be kidding
and what
me,
happened
guys.
to the outcome of this case specifically.
That is the third time I have tried to play this. I can see lines. It lets me get so far and then I get into the lines. This is wild. It's all factual public information. I did this on a live. I did the video. And at the end, I show you his picture. Why in the... This just boils... I have video about being in Ada County.
Boise. I did some poking around. His picture doesn't even look like the same individual in the app gettingout.com, which you can communicate with him.
Wow.
So I'm a little leery about everything that we've seen and everything that we've heard. There has got to be something else going on. What do you think? And as
I share and I show you the picture, you know what? I am going to send this picture to myself very quickly before anything gets erased, and I'm going to share the picture right here so that you all can see the actual record. Hold on a minute. And let me just send this to myself real quick. I can't believe they blocked all that out. This guy doesn't even have any murder charges in the county, in the state. This is wild. Maybe they don't want people to know. What a mess. Hold on a minute. I'm going to send this to myself. This is freaking wild. Okay, let me pull this up real quick and I'll get you guys a copy of that. And then I'm going to get off of here. I've got one more that I'm going to do back to back. So let me pull this picture up for you so you guys can see it live. And you can leave your thoughts, your comments, your questions. Hey, do me a favor. Hit the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. As I get this picture downloaded and uploaded to right here, you can actually see. I'll try to blow it up as much as I possibly can. And you can see. Anyone can go down to the website, gettingout.com, select Ada County Jail and like you want to do a video chat with him, and anyone can go see that his, unless they've taken it off, I can go and see if they have removed it from the website. Let me share this with you real quick. I don't know how big you can see this. Can you see that pretty large, guys? I'm going to see if I can put it all on the entire screen. Let's see. Can you guys see that? I'm going to try to put it as big as I can. Can you all see that picture? That does not look like Kohberger. And that is not his nose from the side. That is definitely not Brian Kohberger. Can you all see that? Type a 1. You can go check for yourself. Always, always, always check other people's work. If you don't believe it, go see it for yourself. Go check for yourself, because, y'all, I think we've been played. He's not looking at the camera, but that is not his nose. That is not his hairline. That's the actual original picture that I blew up. I know the picture's small. This looks like a whole Spanish dude. That is the original picture when I requested pending visits and video visits. And this is it blown up a little bit more. That dude does not look by the name Brian Kohberger in the Ada County Courthouse. Well, Ada County Jail. So there it is. And yeah, I'm sure they're not going to want a lot of people. There are people that have been trying to FOIA public records for a long time. I can't get it any bigger, guys. Take a screenshot, blow it up. Look at his nose. It's not his side profile. Not even looking at the camera. If he was looking at the camera, we would know. But if you look at his hair receding line, his little ears, we know that the guy in all the documents that we see in court is this guy. This guy, no way, looks like the guy on the picture they have at the Ada County Jail. I don't know why. This is his tablet account. You can go check it out. Not his hairline, not his ears, not his mouth, not his lips, not his... I mean, I'm no facial expert, but I knew the minute that I saw that picture, that was not him. Folks, you can go right to, like I said, the website, gocreateagettingout.com, and you can request to go see him. That is his Ada County ID. Okay? So when I say I check and I double check my facts, guys, anyone can go see this. This is the real deal. And in my humble opinion, this is not the name that we've been given, Brian Kohberger. So who is this guy? Who is this guy that we see in court? Is he a stand-in? Is he an actor? Who is this guy that we see? Don't know. We'll keep going down the rabbit hole till we get to the final theory, but I think that we will never see these court documents in this case. I don't think we'll ever really know the true answer. And I don't think that this guy is his twin either. Look at his profile. Look at his facial features. Who knows? I'm trying to zoom in. I can't. I wish we could. I have zoomed in all I possibly can. I've hit every button. There is no option for zooming in. I've edited it, done everything. That's as big as it gets. So, take a screenshot, blow it up. I've got a video on TikTok. Obviously, they blocked my video here on the YT. And leave your thoughts. Thank you so much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. And all we can do is still inquire, who the heck is Brian Koberger? Was he a whistleblower trap theory? And he was set up. As always, like and follow, and be well.